On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we are talking about Children of Mars, the new Star Trek short trek, right after this.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David Robertson.
What is up, David Robertson? How are you, buddy?
I was a little sick.
Yeah, you sound a little sick. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we'll make it a short one for you today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll keep it short. It's a short trek. We don't want to go longer than the short trek itself, I guess. This seemed really short. Like, was this the shortest yet?
I don't know. It was 8 minutes and some change.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was full. I think it was shorter than they wanted us to think it was because it was full of footage that I know was in Picard.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know there's some of that. Okay, so full spoiler alert. We're going to talk about this short trek. I think this was a great use of a short trek.
Okay.
I really liked it. It's a little like juvenile in places, but it's supposed to be. It's about these two girls who basically have schoolyard fights, and then they when an attack happens on Mars, they realize their parents are there, and they come together, as it were. And I think that's like it's a really good use of a short trek because it's not trying to say something too big, which we've said about a lot of these short treks. They've tried to they either say nothing, or they try to like shove a bunch of stuff into one short trek. And I really like the sort of just like a simple statement about humanity, which is what a lot of Star Trek does well. That we're driven together by like tragedy. It's a really nice character moment, and you know, while it's about little girls and they fight at the drop of a dime. Girls are mean, I said to my girlfriend as we were watching it, but I think it's really, really well done. I liked it. You sound like you disagree.
I don't necessarily disagree. I am hoping I'm holding out for the possibility that we're going to see both of these girls in some capacity on Picard, and they'll hopefully play into it somehow, other than just being like, oh, here's the day in the life of two kids, and here's the thing that happened. We don't really have any idea of Picard's involvement in any of this that would, force him back to the vineyard. So I sort of feel like if they're not doing like character backstory here, what are we doing?
Right. I think you're doing what I said, which is just like a nice little what Star Trek does, which is like a little slice of humanity. What happens? I definitely think you're right. I think that this is probably backstory for some of the characters, especially with the character designs and that alien design. Have we seen that alien before? The one little girl.
I don't know. She looks a little like some Denobulans.
Okay.
But she might just be Martian. I don't know. Martian?
You think there's Martians?
Well, there's Martian colonies.
Right.
But I don't know that they're actual Martians.
Right. I just mean where the race is from. Just blue-blooded. Right. We know that. Because girls are mean. I don't know. I hear you that this is kind of... I don't know. I'd almost rather them try to say something short and simple and it just be a standalone story than try to go too big like they have done with some previous short treks. Like the one about the princess where they try to like, I don't know. It's like they're trying to shove an entire Star Trek episode into 12 minutes, you know? That always feels to me like they don't explore things well. And so I prefer this to that. This is like, it's not saying it's more than it is. It's just a little short story about two little girls, and maybe it will lead to more. Now let's talk about what we do actually learn. I guess we didn't know this was a Mars attack previously, right?
I say I don't, but for some reason, I thought I did.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
As far as I know, in all the stuff we've seen so far, this is the first time we've had clarification what that attack is from the Picard trailers. This is clearly the same attack. It's an attack on the Martian colony. We still don't know what those ships are because we've talked a lot about this attack.
They've been referred to as rogue synths. On like the news and stuff here. But
okay. See, I didn't read that. I read I can't. So it's so small, and I'm really annoyed. CBS All Access does this thing where when you pause it, it gets small, and I can't do the whole freeze frame thing as well.
Yeah, that's why they don't want you to do the freeze frame.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I just saw rogue synths. Is that the word?
Yeah, I have looked them up on Memory Alpha. They're new to this. We don't know what that is. It's just like a race of beings that are able to, attack on a planetary scale. That's all it really says.
Okay, well, we know, synth to me sounds synthetic. So we thinking the Cylon are here?
Or the Borg.
Oh, no, I got it. It's the androids.
Oh.
Yep. That's it. We've talked a lot about being a story about the androids rising up because they're enslaved, and these are called the rogue synths. Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Good one, Dave. Always counting you for a good pun. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty likely. That's what's going on here, which I don't know. I can see why Picard would find that, whether he's directly involved or not, because of his history with Measure of a Man and Data himself. You can definitely see why. It says rogue synths attack Mars, 3,000 estimated dead. Mm-hmm. So synth sounds like they're easy language for androids at this time period.
Sounds like a racial slur.
It does. It really does, which I think works really well for, the story they're trying to tell. Man, that's cool. It's so funny. They've had so much about the Borg and 7 and 9 and all this stuff that, I feel like that's what's getting the most press. But because we started our rewatch with Measure of a Man, and then that trailer dropped where they had all those we now know as synths, we're assuming, in that closet, I just am fully convinced that Picard is going to be heavily about the synths and their synth uprisings. We also get a shot in the trailer where it says Admiral Picard reacts to Mars attack. So
devastating.
He says, yeah. So I think,
wow, Picard, you don't have much to say, do you?
Well, not much they want us to know yet. So anyway, that's so maybe he's lobbied for them to have life, but also he probably had to participate in the creation of them to some degree, seeing as he's the one that would have had to bring back B4. He's the one that would have had to turn over Data's body. And so using all of that, they may have been able to create these synths, and then, Picard probably would have tried to make them treat them well, but we know that they're not want to do that. So I think that's we're seeing some shape of the story from this. Even if this little story we get has nothing to do with the characters going forward, I think there's a lot here about Picard. Yeah. And it's a nice little story about humanity. I dig it.
Well, now that I'm, not being stupid and realize what the synths are, I enjoy it a lot more. But yeah, I do kind of feel like it's a little, we'll see. But it was well done, at the very least.
Yeah, it was. I'm
not sure how many more times I can hear dramatic presentation of David Bowie's Heroes, but I keep hearing that on different things, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I didn't particularly like this version of Heroes. I
didn't either.
Sometimes that's well done. Recently on Watchmen, they took Careless Whisper and stretched it out in a similar way, a very dramatic version of Careless Whisper, and it was amazing because of the context. And I felt here like they were like, "Hey, here's a song to kind of add some emotional weight to this."
Yeah,
and that didn't resonate with me at all.
I think it would have. If they were going to go that route, they should have just played, Gary Jules' Mad World version. From Donnie Darko or whatever it was.
Right.
That would have been better than Heroes. That was weird. It's a weird song choice for this. We weren't talking about any heroes. We were just talking about...
Well, I think the idea is humanity is under attack, and then we come together, and we are heroes by standing together or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
I hear you.
And also, I'm always just so like... It always just reminds me of 97's Godzilla, that awful Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick.
Right.
Because that was like the big song for that movie, and I don't know. It was the Wallflowers too.
Yeah, I know you like the Wallflowers.
I love the Wallflowers, but oh my gosh, like I hate that song.
Yeah. Oh, can we do a little discussion of something completely different? This Countdown Picard comic?
I'm aware of it. I haven't actually gotten a chance to read it.
I've read the first two books, and I was excited to read the third and then have a podcast discussion about it before the show. It turns out it comes out on January 29th.
The last issue?
Yeah. How annoying is that? It's the countdown to Picard. Turns out it releases after the show comes out. So I was expecting us to be able to have a really good discussion, but it's just not. We're not going to get it beforehand.
Well, we could still do it, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I just was excited.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like I thought it was going to... I mean, it is. It's like years before Picard, and I was assuming it was going to be like part of the events that drove him into his vineyard exile. But like, I don't know. It's weird.
I think... Has it not been so far?
So far, there's no telling what it's about. Okay, I can give you a quick
2
run.
issues in? Oh my gosh.
Well, no. I mean, you can tell what it's about, but it doesn't seem to relate to what's happening in the future. It's about the Romulus. Well, not Romulus itself. It's about a sort of vineyard planet, actually, which is kind of funny, and that there's definitely like intentionally drawing that parallel. Picard goes to a planet during the evacuation of all Romulan space because of the supernova that's coming.
Right.
So he goes in the Verite, which is his new ship, which is the same design as the design they use for the Enterprise F in the Star Trek Online. So that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
But he's apparently the captain of the Verite, or he's an admiral of the fleet now, I think, that's leading this evacuation of Romulus. And he comes to this planet, and he's supposed to round up these few hundred Romulans that are in this outpost on this planet. And it turns out when he gets down to the planet, there's an entire enslaved race of they're enslaved by the Romulans. They work for the Romulans, but basically the Romulans didn't give the Federation a heads up that there were millions of people on this planet that they weren't planning on evacuating. They were like, "Oh, these are the natives. We're leaving them behind." And then when Picard says, "No, I'm not going to help you evacuate unless we're evacuating everyone," and also it's shitty that you didn't tell us because this is going to hurt the entire evacuation process because we need a lot more ships here now. And so they basically refuse, and then the Romulans capture Picard and his new first officer, throw them in jail, and then 2 Romulans come and set them free. And they basically lead a freedom fighter raid on the compound, and it's a group of the vineyard aliens that are helping out, or these vineyard aliens who've sort of been enslaved and are about to be left behind, and that's kind of where it's left off. I was assuming, and in the second issue, they contact the Verite, which now has, I guess, the third officer in command, or the second officer. I don't know how these work.
Yeah, it would be the second officer. Yeah,
right. The second officer is in command. They basically tell them that a group of these native aliens has risen up and have killed Picard and his first officer. And so that's where it ends. Is that Picard and his first officer are on the run, and they find out these two Romulans that let them free are previous Tal Shiar members.
Oh, okay.
Who basically landed on this planet. It's their first mission, and they were supposed to keep an eye on this planet, and they saw what was going on with these people, and it basically changed them. They decided they wanted to save the people that were there on this planet. They care about them. So they're using this as an opportunity to try to save the people, all these natives, and that's kind of where it leaves off. And we don't know where it's going. It seemed to me like a possible outcome of this would be this kind of inept second officer being convinced that they're under attack by the natives and actually attacking the natives, which I could see that being a thing that would drive Picard. Like if his ship does a genocide, like I could see that driving Picard back to his vineyard.
Okay.
But that's all assumption. I don't know where it's going from here.
Oh, all right.
So there's a quick breakdown of the Countdown comics so far. I guess we probably should have done that as its own episode.
We can still do that.
Yeah, that's fair. We can do the three once the third part comes out. But I was just bummed that we're not going to get the third part until after Picard.
I understand.
My thinking is maybe that it reveals something that they don't want revealed until the first episode comes out. Probably, yeah. So, anyway, well, guys, I guess that's about all from us today.
I did like that the credits were the Next Generation credits. Like the font.
That's neat.
Was the font for the episode titles and the credits for the Next Generation.
That's awesome.
And weirdly, this was the first time they said based upon Star Trek The Next Generation by Gene Roddenberry instead of Star Trek.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense. His first appearance of Picard that we've had.
By the way, apparently the WSA stands for William Shatner Academy.
The WSA? What is the WSA?
The school these girls are going to.
Oh, funny.
I did like that. I did like that this peak. I always like peaks at 24th century life that's not on a starship.
Yeah, for sure.
And I enjoyed that it was First Contact Day too. Oh,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it was saying it all over the place, like First Contact Day, and that's why the one girl was mad because her dad wasn't coming. He was missing First Contact Day.
Oh, okay, cool. I kind of missed that. But yeah, it was interesting because is there any dialogue in this whole thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It was interestingly done. I dig it. I dig it. All right. Well, guys, we'll be back with you soon. We are the Star Trek Universe Podcast. We'll be back with another episode next week. We're going to be covering Generations, and we've got a new song from The Garage to go with it. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, by the way, you can find The Garage on SoundCloud now with all the songs up till now, so you can check it out. Yeah, and actually, Just a Drone, the hit song from this album, just dropped on Spotify and Apple. So if you are digging what I'm doing with all these songs, please go follow The Garage and like and whatever you can do to upvote it on Spotify, because that actually would help us out a lot.
It would.
Anyway, we'll be back soon. Peace.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.